Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and for those of you who don't know, this channel is all about math, science. We're also going to start including language, and it is both at the elementary and the high school level. Alright, so today's class we're going to actually cover Math 6, estimating by rounding. Alright, so with that, let's get started. I'm going to pick a few questions from the textbook. Okay, and what we're going to do is basically just try the addition by rounding. And this is actually very important as like a skill that you should have at the grade 6 level. I should be able to estimate my answers without coming up with the exact answer. Okay, so let's try this question here. How about example here? Okay, we are estimating by rounding to the nearest hundred. So I'm going to first write this question out. So 576, okay, plus 321. Okay, now again, I'm not going to do the addition for this. It just says estimate by rounding to the nearest hundreds. Okay, so when you round it to the nearest hundred, I'm looking at basically the number that is in the tens column. I noticed that the 7, it has to be 5 or greater than 5, which it is. Okay, 7 is greater than 5. So I'm going to actually round this number up to 6. Okay, so it becomes 600. Okay, so basically in the tens column, if it's 5 or greater, I'm gonna add 1 to the hundreds column and round it up. Okay, let's try this one here. I'm looking at the tens column. So I see that the number is 2 here, and 2 is less than 5. So I'm going to actually keep the 3 the same, and then I'm gonna add the zeros. So it becomes 300 like this. Okay, and what we're going to do is just add these two together. Okay, so 600 plus 300, 900. So this is actually my estimate. I'm estimating it to be 900 for my actual answer. So let's try adding this up. So we're going to do 6 plus 1 here, which is 7. Okay, and again, always start with the ones column when you're adding it together. I'm doing 7 plus 2, which is 9. Okay, and then I'm going to add the hundreds column as well. So we're doing 5 plus 3, which is 8. So my exact answer here is 897. And I see that my estimate was at 900, which is really good. Okay, I can see that my estimate was so close to the exact answer. Okay, and the reason you do estimating like this is because it is a little bit of that mental math, and I can make sure that my answer is correct as well. Okay, alright, so let's try one more question here. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, and again, we're just going to estimate by rounding it to the nearest hundreds. Okay, so let's try 632. Okay, plus 489. I'm going to put the equal sign. Okay, again, to the nearest hundred. So let's try the first one. And you're always looking at the number that's right beside the hundreds column. This is the tens column. Okay, so I noticed that I have a 3 here. The 3 is less than 5. So we're going to keep the 6 the same here. Okay, I'm not going to round it up. So 600. Let's try the second one. I'm underlining the 8 that's in the tens column. I can see that the 8 is greater than 5. So I'm going to actually round this up, and I'm going to add 1 to the 4. So it becomes 5. So 500. Okay, oh, let's put the plus sign here. Okay, and if you were actually estimating to the nearest by rounding to the nearest hundred, and it was basically a subtraction question, it would be the exact same thing. I would just make sure I'm subtracting here. Okay, so this one, let's try adding it. So this is 6 plus 5, so 1100. Okay, so you can see it is a bit of mental math, and that's actually good because you can actually do these questions very easily by rounding. So you should have a ballpark of where your actual answer should be. Okay, so let's try adding this up. We're going to do 2 plus 9, 11. So you're going to put 1 here and put the 1 on top. Okay, in the tens column here, I have to make sure I add everything together. So I'm doing 1 plus 3 plus 8, which is 12. Okay, so put the 2 on the bottom, and I'm carrying the tens group over, okay, to the hundreds column. Alright, and then the last one, I'm going to do 1 plus 6 plus 4, which is equal to 11. Okay, so this is my final answer. It's 1,121. And I can see again, that is really close to my estimate. My estimate was at 1,100. Okay, and that's actually a really good way to check and make sure that your answer is correct. Are there any questions there? Okay, so this is estimating it to the nearest 100. Okay, so with that, let's try a couple of questions where we are actually subtracting, okay, the two numbers. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, and like I said, the subtraction is basically the same method here. Actually, and you're just going to be subtracting the two numbers, okay? So let's try 979 minus 784. Okay, and again, we're just going to round to the nearest 100 to estimate our answer, okay? So I'm going to look at the 7. I can see that the 7 is, again, greater than 5. So we're going to round this 9 up to 10, okay? So it's going to be 10. And then 2 zeros, okay? So 2 zeros for basically the tens and the ones column here, all right? So let's look at the second one here. I'm underlining the tens column. I have an 8, which is greater than 5. I have to add 1 to the hundreds column. So this becomes 800. Okay, and I can see now because I am subtracting here, I'm going to minus the two numbers. Okay, so 10 minus 8 here, so 2. And then these two are just zeros. So 200 is my estimate for this answer when I'm subtracting the two numbers. Okay, so let's try subtracting the numbers here. Okay, so I'm going to do 9 minus 4, which is 5. Okay, and I see that I can't do the 7 minus 8. I'm going to borrow from the hundreds column here. And this 9 becomes 8. Okay, and that becomes 17, okay? Okay, and we're just going to subtract this now. So 17 minus 8, so 9. Okay? And the last column, we're going to do the hundreds. So I'm going to do 8 minus 7, which is equal to 1. Okay, so my answer here is 195, and again I can see that it's really close to my estimate. My estimate is at 200. Okay, and that's all you're doing here basically. Okay, again, it's a good skill to have when you're doing the mental math here. All right, and that way you know that you have the right answer. And sometimes the teachers also want you to check your answer, okay, by just like estimating the numbers here. And I can see that I have the right answer. Okay, so let's try one more where you are subtracting and estimating by the subtraction here. Alright, so let's try this one. Let's try 827 minus 413. Okay, so we're going to do something simple here. So let's try the first one. I have 827. We're still going to round it to the nearest 100. I'm underlining what is there in the tens column, which is 2. The 2 is less than 5, so I'm going to keep the 8 the same. So 800. Okay, let's take a look at the second one here. Okay, I have a 1 in the tens column, which is again less than 5. I'm going to keep my 4 the same. So it's kind of like, it's not really rounding down. Okay, I'm just keeping it the same here. I'm going to subtract the two numbers, so 800 minus 400 is equal to 400. So this is my estimate here, okay? And now let's actually try doing the question, okay? I made it really simple. In the ones column, we're doing 7 minus 3, which is equal to 4, okay? Then the tens column, we're going to do 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. Alright, and in the hundreds column, we're doing 8 minus 4, which is equal to 4. Okay, so my answer here is 414. Again, very close to my estimate. And I know that I have the right answer, okay, when I'm subtracting the two numbers. Okay, so this is basically rounding to the nearest 100s, right? I can also round to the nearest tens or the nearest thousands, and the concept is basically going to be the same, okay? So that looks good. And if there are no questions, that does bring this video to an end. And thank you for watching. I hope everyone did enjoy the content and you learned a little bit about estimating by rounding, whether you're adding or subtracting two numbers. And make sure you are subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content, and click on the like button below as well. And I will see everyone next time. Thanks. Bye.